I was sent to breed with an alien. I never expected to fall in love. The shuttle shook gently as it descended through the lavender-colored clouds of Lumara Prime, a planet so different from Earth that it almost felt like entering a dream. Alara Vance gripped the seat armrest, trying to calm the nervous excitement twisting inside her chest. She had trained for years for this mission, yet no amount of preparation could ease the weight she now felt. Her mission was simple in its description, but monumental in its implications. She was to participate in a reproductive alliance with the Lumari, a species on the brink of extinction. The alliance, carefully negotiated by Earth's Interstellar Council, was designed to ensure the survival of their species. Yet the thought of being sent merely as a biological participant unsettled her. She was a scientist, a diplomat, not a pawn. As the shuttle pierced the final layer of clouds, the world below revealed itself. Vast forests glowing faintly under a lavender sky, rivers that shimmered with a liquid-like light, and creatures moving gracefully between the trees, their forms strange but elegant. Alara's eyes widened. She had expected aliens to be alien, yes, but she had not expected beauty so profound it made her chest tighten. The shuttle landed in a clearing near a large crystalline structure that pulsed gently with light. A welcoming committee awaited her, 6 Lumari standing tall and slender, their skin a soft, iridescent hue that shifted color with each movement. Their eyes were large and luminous, reflecting curiosity and intelligence. A soft hum filled the air, almost musical. Alara instinctively felt calmer. The Lumari communicated through a mix of hums, gestures, and shifting skin patterns, which she had studied in briefings but never imagined she would experience in person. A tall Lumari stepped forward, their skin glowing a gentle blue. They extended a hand, and in the universal way she had been trained to respond, Alara offered hers. The contact was brief but warm, a reassurance that the mission, while daunting, was also an invitation to understand and connect. "You are Alara Vance?" the Lumari asked, their voice melodic, translated instantly by her wrist device. "Yes," she replied, bowing slightly. "I am here to help." The Lumari nodded, their skin rippling from blue to soft green, a sign of welcome as she soon learned. "We are grateful. You are not just a guest. You are a bridge." Alara's stomach tightened. "A bridge," she repeated quietly. It sounded heavier than a simple diplomatic term. The weight of responsibility pressed down on her chest. The first days were a whirlwind of observation and learning. The Lumari were gentle, highly intelligent, and deeply connected to their environment. They communicated through songs of color and tone, weaving subtle meanings that Alara struggled to fully grasp. Every gesture, every pattern on their skin carried layers of emotion and information. Her assigned partner for the ritual, a Lumari named Kale, was unlike any creature she had ever met. Kale's skin shimmered a soft lavender when relaxed, deepening to gold when curious or excited. Their movements were precise but fluid, like a dance that spoke of a mind both analytical and imaginative. Kale approached Alara one morning as she studied a glowing plant in the crystalline gardens. Their eyes met, and her translator activated automatically. "You are curious," Kale observed, their tone musical. I am," Alara admitted, stepping closer to examine the plant. "It's incredible how it glows. What is it?" Kale extended a delicate finger, and the plant responded by radiating brighter colors. "It is called Lumivine. It senses emotion and reflects it. You are excited, that is good." Alara smiled, surprised by the honesty and simplicity of the observation. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "Yes," Kale replied, their lavender hue deepening slightly. "We value beauty in all things." "You will learn this soon." As the days passed, Alara realized that the mission was far more than a biological arrangement. The ritual, which humans had crudely labeled as breeding, was actually a ceremony of trust, connection, and shared responsibility. The Lumari selected partners carefully, not merely for reproduction, but to ensure the preservation of knowledge, culture, and empathy across species. Ilara observed interactions between other Lumari pairs. There was no force, no coercion. Every bond was built on mutual respect and curiosity. She began to feel a pang of guilt for her initial hesitation. She had thought she was going as a tool, but here, she realized, she was being welcomed as a contributor to their world. Kale became her guide and companion through this unfamiliar world. They taught her the music of their language, how to sense emotions in subtle shifts of color, and how to navigate their forests without disturbing the delicate ecosystem. One afternoon, they walked along the edge of a glowing river, its waters reflecting the soft lavender sky. "Do humans always carry so much fear with them?" Kale asked gently, their voice like a song drifting over the water. Ilara paused, considering. "I suppose we fear what we don't understand. I know I did. I thought coming here would make me a tool, but you are so alive in every sense, and kind. I don't know why I was afraid." Kale's skin pulsed a soft green, the Lumari sign for warmth and understanding. "Fear is natural, but it can also vanish with trust. You trust now?" Ilara hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, I think I do." For the first time, she felt real connection, not duty or obligation. It was small, subtle, but undeniable. Her heart, so tightly wound with responsibility, began to open just a little. One evening, the Lumari held a gathering under the twin moons. Every member of the community was present, their bodies glowing with gentle light. The air was filled with harmonies, low hums that rose and fell like waves. Ilara watched, entranced, as pairs of Lumari moved in a ritual dance, their colors shifting in intricate patterns. Kale approached her, extending a hand. "It is time to learn the dance," they said softly. Ilara took the hand, and together they moved. At first, she stumbled, unsure of the rhythm or meaning. But Kale guided her gently, their movements synchronized, almost instinctual. She began to feel the emotion behind every gesture, the trust and care that the dance represented. "You are learning quickly," Kale said, their tone lilting. "You do not just move with your body, you move with your heart." Ilara felt a blush rise to her cheeks, even though she knew Kale could perceive it as a color shift. I am trying," she whispered. "You are doing more than trying," Kale replied. Their skin shimmered with a faint gold, the sign of affection among the Lumari. Ilara felt a warmth in her chest that went beyond comprehension. As the moons rose higher, she realized something profound. She was not just performing a duty. She was experiencing a bond that transcended species, a connection born of respect, curiosity, and shared understanding. For the first time, Ilara allowed herself to hope. Perhaps this mission would not only save a species, but also teach her about the strength of empathy, intelligence, and love. And perhaps, unknowingly, it was the beginning of something far greater than she had ever expected. The morning sun spilled across the lavender landscape of Lumara Prime, painting the glowing forests in delicate shades of gold and violet. Ilara woke early, her mind buzzing with excitement and anticipation. The first days had been a whirlwind of observation and careful learning, but now she felt a new curiosity stirring, one that went beyond duty, beyond the mission. Kale was waiting for her outside the crystalline dwelling. Their skin shimmered in soft green hues, a greeting and perhaps a hint of anticipation. "Good morning, Ilara," Kale said, their voice musical, translating into perfect English in her earpiece. "Good morning," she replied, stepping closer. She had grown comfortable around Kale in a way she hadn't expected. Their presence brought a calmness she hadn't felt in years. "We will explore today," Kale said, extending a hand. "You are ready," Ilara smiled. "I am." Their path led them to the bioluminescent forest, a place of wonder. The trees glowed faintly in blue and green, and the soft light revealed small creatures moving gracefully through the undergrowth. Every step was carefully measured, as the forest was alive in ways that were both beautiful and delicate. Kale explained the plants and animals as they walked. This plant stores sunlight to glow at night. This creature helps spread its seeds. Everything here is connected. Alara nodded, amazed. It's incredible. On Earth, we call it an ecosystem, but it feels alive, almost like it thinks for itself. Kale's lavender hue deepened. It does not think as you do, but it has memory, response, and feeling. We live with it, not over it. They moved quietly, allowing the soft harmony of the forest to surround them. At one point, a sudden breeze caused the leaves to shimmer, reflecting a rainbow of colors. Alara gasped. It's like the whole forest is singing. Kale laughed softly. It sings with its own language. You will learn to hear it. As they walked, Kale began teaching Alara the subtle ways Lumari communicate. A shift in skin color, a slight change in tone, a gentle motion. It was fascinating and complicated, and yet Alara found herself absorbing it naturally, feeling more connected not only to the Lumari but to the world around her. They stopped by a small river that glowed faintly, reflecting the soft lavender sky. Kale knelt, touching the water with delicate fingers. The river reflects truth, Kale said. It shows who you are inside. Alara knelt beside them, intrigued. How does it do that? Kale's skin shimmered in patterns she was beginning to understand. You feel and the river responds. It shows courage, fear, honesty, love. Humans are simple but deep. The river will recognize you. Alara watched the river, feeling a quiet calm wash over her. She thought about the mission, about being sent here as part of a plan she had not chosen. And yet, looking at Kale, at the forest, at the glowing river, she felt a shift inside herself. Maybe this mission was not a burden. It was a chance to connect with something larger than herself. Over the next few days, Alara and Kale spent every moment learning from one another. They played with the lumavine plants, laughing as the vines responded to their emotions with bursts of light. They explored hidden caves filled with crystals that hummed softly, creating a natural symphony as they moved through the chambers. Kale taught her how to move with the rhythm of the planet, how to sense changes in the forest, and even how to understand the quiet language of the Lumari without relying on translation devices. Alara began sharing stories of Earth in return, its oceans, mountains, cities, and the stars above her home planet. Kale listened intently, fascinated, their colors pulsing with curiosity. You describe Earth with care, Kale said one evening as they sat beneath a tree that glowed faintly under the twin moons. You see beauty and struggle and you carry it without harming it. Humans are complicated but remarkable. Alara felt a warmth in her chest. Kale's words were simple, yet they carried weight. She had spent her life being told she was skilled, intelligent, competent, but hearing admiration from another species, one so wise and gentle, moved her deeply. One day, while exploring the outskirts of a glowing valley, they discovered a disturbance in the ecosystem. A cluster of lumavine plants was wilting, their light dimming. Small creatures scurried anxiously, and the balance of the area seemed threatened. Alara instinctively knelt, examining the plants. It looks like they are lacking nutrients. Maybe the soil has changed somehow. Kale observed silently, their colors shifting between concern and focus. You may help, Kale said. Your knowledge of earth plants it may apply. Together, they experimented. Alara suggested using small amounts of minerals and adjusting water flow, while Kale manipulated the plants with delicate gestures. Slowly, the lumavine began to glow again. The creatures returned and the harmony of the valley was restored. Kale's lavender hue deepened to gold. You have saved this place. You are not just a guest, you are a friend, a partner. Alara's heart swelled. She had come to the planet expecting duty, maybe even awkward detachment. Instead, she had found purpose, trust, and connection. And Kale had become more than a guide or companion. That night, under the twin moons, Kale led her to a quiet glade filled with luminescent flowers. The air was soft and fragrant, alive with gentle hums from the surrounding forest. Kale looked at her, eyes reflecting the moonlight. "Do you feel it?" Kale asked softly. "The connection?" Alara nodded. "I do. It's strange. I never expected this. I thought I was here only for duty, but now I feel something more, something I can't explain." Kale's colors pulsed warmly. "We do not rush such feelings, but they are real. You are learning that to connect is to care, and to care is to understand." They sat together in silence, listening to the soft music of the forest. Alara felt the gentle brush of Kale's hand, not touching but near enough to feel warmth. Her heart thumped in a way that surprised her. She realized that the mission, once a sterile task, was becoming a journey of the heart. She had begun to care deeply for Kale, for their people, for this glowing world that was so alive and delicate. And she could see, in Kale's patient, gentle gaze, that they felt something too. The days that followed were filled with small, intimate lessons. Alara learned how to read subtle color shifts for emotion, how to sense trust and hesitation, and how to move with Kale in ritual dances that represented the flow of life itself. Each moment drew them closer. There were laughs, shared discoveries, and quiet confessions beneath the glowing sky. They spoke of fears, hopes, and dreams, both personal and for their species. Alara learned that the reproductive ritual, the reason she had been sent here, was a sacred symbol of trust and alliance. It was not about coercion or duty. It was about mutual respect, love, and the preservation of life. And through all of it, she realized something unexpected. She was falling in love. It was slow, subtle, and entirely natural. Not the rushed, dramatic kind of love she had seen in stories, but a deep, enduring connection that grew from trust, respect, and shared understanding. She cared for Kale not because the mission required it, but because they had become a part of her world. Kale, too, had begun to shift in ways she recognized. Their playful gestures, the gentle hums directed at her, and the warmth in their gaze showed affection that went beyond ceremony. Alara understood, finally, that her journey had transformed her. She had come to Lumara Prime to fulfill a duty, but she had found a connection that touched her heart and soul. And she knew, even without words, that Kale felt the same. For the first time since arriving, Alara felt hope not just for the mission, but for something far greater, a bond that could unite two species in ways that had never been imagined. Alara woke to the soft glow of Lumara Prime's twin suns, the light filtering through the crystalline structures that made up the Lumari village. She stretched, feeling the familiar stir of anticipation in her chest. Every day with Kale brought new discoveries, both in the world around her and within her own heart. Today, however, felt different. A soft vibration traveled through the ground beneath her feet, subtle but urgent. She knew the planet well enough now to sense disturbances in its energy. Something was wrong. Kale appeared almost immediately, their lavender hue deepening into a concerned gold. "You sense it," they said softly as though reading her mind. "Yes," Alara replied. "Something is happening. The forest, it feels unsettled." Kale nodded. "Come, we must go." Together they moved quickly through the glowing forest, the air alive with faint, anxious hums from the Lumari creatures. A section of the bioluminescent valley had been affected. The plants were dim, their light weak, and small creatures darted nervously. It was clear that an imbalance in the ecosystem had occurred. Alara knelt beside one of the lumivine plants, examining the soil and water carefully. "It looks like a nutrient imbalance," she said, her voice calm despite the tension. "We need to adjust the water and add minerals carefully so we don't harm anything else." Kale's skin shimmered with approval. "You understand the balance. Humans are clever, but you are also gentle. This combination is rare." Together they worked. Alara suggested mixing small amounts of minerals into the river's tributaries, while Kale manipulated the plants' energy patterns, coaxing them to absorb the nutrients. Slowly, the forest began to respond. The glow returned to the plants, and the creatures calmed. When it was over, Kale looked at her with soft admiration. "You saved this place, not with strength but with understanding. That is true power." Alara felt a warmth spread through her chest. She had always thought of herself as intelligent, competent, but this was something different. Here, her human knowledge and empathy had made a real difference. As the days passed, the bond between Alara and Kale grew stronger. They moved seamlessly through the forest, working as a team to maintain the delicate balance of Lumara Prime. But their connection had shifted from practical collaboration to something deeper, more personal. One evening they sat by a softly glowing river, the twin moons reflecting in the water. Alara watched the ripples, thinking about Earth, her family, and the path that had brought her here. Kale's voice broke the silence. "You carry your world with you," they said. "Even here you think of it and it shapes your actions." Alara smiled faintly. "I do, but being here with you, it's changing me too. I feel alive in ways I didn't know were possible." Kale's lavender glow deepened into a gentle gold. "Feelings are not always easy. But they are true. You care, and that is good." Alara's heart raced. She had never expected to feel love for someone so different, yet the truth was undeniable. She cared for Kale more than she had ever cared for anyone. And she sensed, in their subtle gestures and gentle hums, that Kale felt the same. The next challenge came unexpectedly. A storm unlike any Alara had seen on Lumara Prime swept across the valley. Winds howled through the trees, glowing rivers churned, and the creatures fled for safety. The delicate balance of the ecosystem was at risk. Alara and Kale ran to the center of the affected area, their minds racing. "We must stabilize the river flow and protect the plants," Kale said, their voice firm despite the storm. Alara nodded, her hands already working. She used a combination of human technology and knowledge of plant systems to redirect water flows, while Kale focused on the lumivine and other sensitive flora, guiding them through the crisis with subtle energy manipulations. Hours passed and the storm raged, but they worked in harmony. Their movements were synchronized, their minds focused, and slowly the valley began to stabilize. By dawn, the storm had passed and the forest breathed again. Kale's glow shifted to a brilliant gold as they turned to Alara. "You were brave. You did not falter. Humans have great courage, but you have heart as well." Alara felt tears prick her eyes. "We did it together," she whispered. "I couldn't have done it without you." Kale reached out, their hand brushing hers in a gesture that was intimate yet gentle. "You do not need to fear connection," they said softly. "It is not weakness, it is strength." Alara felt her chest tighten. She realized that this was not just admiration or friendship, it was love, a bond built on trust, shared experience, and mutual respect. In the days that followed, they spent more time exploring emotional landscapes than physical ones. Kale shared stories of their childhood, their hopes for Lumary society and fears for the future. Alara reciprocated, telling Kale about her life on Earth, the people she loved, and the dreams that had led her into space. One evening, as they rested under a grove of glowing trees, Kale's voice was soft. "Do you think our bond can change things? Not just for us, but for our people," Alara considered. "I think it can. We've already shown that humans and Lumary can work together to solve problems without harm. Maybe this bond, our understanding, it can be a model." Kale's lavender hue deepened to gold. "Then we will try, together." That night, as they lay beneath the glowing canopy, Alara felt a profound sense of peace. She had come to Lumara Prime expecting duty, responsibility, and perhaps awkward obligation. Instead, she had found friendship, purpose, and love, a love that transcended species, one that was rooted in respect, understanding, and shared responsibility. The ritual, which had once seemed mechanical and distant, now took on a new meaning. It was not about obligation. It was about connection, trust, and hope for the future. The Lumary had chosen her not merely for survival, but because they believed she could understand and honor their world. And in Kale, she had found someone who could see her as she truly was, human, capable, and compassionate. Alara realized that love, in its truest form, was not about possession or obligation, but about mutual respect, shared understanding, and a willingness to act for the good of others. And in that understanding, she felt stronger, braver, and more alive than ever before. Kale shifted closer, their skin glowing softly. "You are changing," they said. "Not just in body, but in spirit. You care, you understand, you love." Alara took a deep breath, feeling the truth in their words. "Yes," she whispered, "I do. And I think I am falling in love with you." Kale's glow deepened to a shimmering gold, the Lumary sign of deep emotional connection. "And I with you," they replied. For the first time, Alara allowed herself to let go of fear and duty, embracing the bond that had grown between them. It was unexpected, profound, and entirely beautiful. They sat together under the twin moons, hands nearly touching, hearts connected in a way that transcended language, species, and expectation. Alara knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever decisions she would have to make for her mission or for Lumara Prime, they would face them together. And that knowledge filled her with hope, courage, and a love she had never imagined possible. The soft glow of Lumara Prime's twin moons reflected off the crystalline towers, bathing the village in silver and lavender light. Alara woke with a sense of purpose she had never known before. She had come to this planet as part of a mission, but now she felt something far greater, a desire to build, to connect, and to unite. Kale was already waiting for her outside the dwelling, their skins softly shimmering in the morning light. "Good morning, Alara," Kale said, their tone musical. "Good morning," she replied, smiling. The bond between them had deepened with each passing day, a connection rooted in trust, respect, and love. Today, they would present their idea to the Lumary Council, an idea that could change the future of both species. Alara and Kale walked side by side to the central council chamber, a magnificent space made of clear crystal that glowed faintly from the energy of the planet. The chamber was filled with elder Lumary, their colors shifting between deep blues, soft greens, and gentle golds, a sign of curiosity and cautious anticipation. Alara took a deep breath. She had prepared for this moment for days, thinking about the right words, the right tone. But now, as Kale's hand brushed hers briefly, a gesture of reassurance, she realized that the truth was enough. "You have come with ideas?" one elder asked, their voice echoing in the chamber. "Yes," Alara said, stepping forward. "We have worked together over the past weeks. Kale and we've seen what humans and Lumary can do when we combine our knowledge, our understanding, and our care for life. We believe our bond is not just personal, it can serve as a model for a new kind of partnership between our species." The elders exchanged glances, their colors flickering with curiosity. Alara continued. "We can collaborate to protect the planet, share knowledge, and build understanding. This is not about obligation or duty. It is about respect, empathy, and hope. Together, we can create something stronger than either species could achieve alone." Kale stepped forward, their voice calm and melodic. "Our bond demonstrates the power of connection. Love and trust are not weaknesses. They are bridges that can unite beings across worlds. If we choose to share this with our people, we can inspire harmony and cooperation for generations to come." The council remained silent for a moment, the chamber filled with the soft hum of Lumary energy. Then one elder, a tall figure with deep green hues, spoke. "You speak truth. The bond between you is unusual, but it shows wisdom, care, and strength. If you guide us, we will follow." Another elder nodded, their lavender glow deepening. "The partnership you propose is more than survival. It is life, culture, and understanding shared." "We accept." Alara felt her heart leap. The council had agreed, not because of fear or obligation, but because they recognized the value of connection, intelligence, and empathy. Kale turned to her, their glow golden and warm. "You have done well," they whispered. "Your courage, your insight, it has changed more than just the council. It has changed me." Alara smiled, her eyes shining. "We changed each other." Over the next few days, Alara and Kale worked tirelessly to implement their vision. Together, they guided the Lumari in combining their natural abilities with human technology, creating systems to monitor and preserve the forests, rivers, and creatures of Lumara Prime. Alara introduced simple human devices that measured soil nutrients and water flow, while Kale helped integrate the Lumari energy patterns to maintain balance naturally. The results were astounding. The forests glowed brighter, the rivers flowed smoother, and the creatures thrived. The Lumari community observed eagerly, learning from Alara's careful explanations and Kale's intuitive guidance. For the first time, humans and Lumari worked side by side, sharing knowledge openly and building trust. One evening, as the twin moons rose high above the glowing forest, Alara and Kale sat together by a calm river. The soft light reflected in their eyes, mirroring the bond that had grown between them. "You know," Alara said softly, "I never imagined this when I first arrived. I thought I would only be part of a mission. I never expected this." Kale's glow shifted to a warm gold. "This is more than mission. It is life shared. It is love, respect, and understanding. You are human, but you are also extraordinary." Alara felt her chest tighten. "And you are Lumari, but you are extraordinary too." They laughed softly, their hands brushing as they shared a quiet moment. In that simple touch, they both felt the strength of their bond, a bond that had grown through challenges, learning, and mutual care. The council soon organized a ceremony to honor their partnership, not as a duty, but as a symbol of hope for the future. The entire Lumari community gathered in a glowing valley, the air filled with soft harmonies and shifting colors. Alara and Kale stood side by side, their hands gently touching, as the elders spoke of the importance of trust, empathy, and cooperation. They highlighted how two species, so different, could unite through understanding and shared goals. As the ceremony concluded, the Lumari community approached them individually, expressing gratitude and admiration. Some shifted colors to show joy, others to show respect. Each gesture was subtle, but Alara felt its weight deeply. She realized that she was not just part of the mission, she had become a catalyst for hope and unity. Kale squeezed her hand gently. "Look at what we have done together. This is the future." Alara nodded, feeling tears well up. "And it's just the beginning." In the following weeks, humans began visiting Lumara Prime more frequently, guided by Alara and Kale. They came to learn, to exchange knowledge, and to understand the delicate balance of life on the planet. The partnership between species grew steadily, rooted in respect, intelligence, and shared care for life. Alara found herself more confident, more fulfilled than ever before. She had arrived as a representative of duty, but she stayed as a bridge between worlds, and as someone who had learned to love deeply and honestly. Kale, too, flourished. Their understanding of humans grew, and they began to see the possibilities of a shared future, one where their species could thrive together. The love between them became a symbol of hope, proof that empathy and connection could overcome fear and isolation. One evening, they walked along a river that glowed softly under the twin moons. Kale looked at Alara, their colors shimmering with affection. "Do you think the humans will understand what we have learned here?" Alara smiled. "They will. If we teach them, guide them, and show them what is possible. They just need to see that connection can change everything." Kale nodded. "Then we will show them, together." They paused, looking at the glowing forest, the creatures moving gracefully among the trees, and the rivers that reflected the soft starlight. It was beautiful, alive, and full of promise. Alara felt a sense of peace she had never known. She had come to Lumara Prime expecting obligation and uncertainty, but she had found purpose, love, and hope. And she knew that whatever the future held, she and Kale would face it together, united in heart, mind, and spirit. As they returned to the village, the Lumari greeted them with subtle colors of admiration and joy. Ilara realized that her mission had transformed. What began as a task of duty had grown into a journey of understanding, trust, and love. She had helped preserve a species, united two worlds, and discovered the depth of her own heart. Kale walked beside her, their hands gently brushing again, a simple gesture filled with meaning. "We have created something stronger than duty," Kale said softly. "We have created hope." Ilara looked up at the twin moons, their glow reflecting in her eyes. "Yes," she whispered, "and love." The valley glowed around them, the forest alive with gentle harmonies, the rivers shimmering with light, and the creatures moving gracefully through their world. It was a world of balance, connection, and possibility, a world they had helped shape together. And as they stood there, hand in hand, Ilara knew that the future was bright, not because of obligation, not because of mission, but because of understanding, courage, and love. For the first time, she truly felt at home, not on Earth, not just on Lumara Prime, but in the shared hearts of two species, united by trust, empathy, and hope for the future. And in that moment, she understood something simple and profound. The greatest strength of humanity was not in force or power, but in connection, compassion, and the ability to love.